All right, so we're diving into a case that has been getting a lot of attention lately, the disappearance of Nikki Cheng Saelee-McCain from Anderson, California.
Yeah, this one has a lot of twists and turns.
It really does, and I think the best place to start is with the timeline, because it's kind of unusual, right?
Absolutely.
So we know that Nikki was last in contact with anyone on May 18th of 2024,
That's right.
but she wasn't reported missing until May 22nd.
A few days later.
Right. And that gap is interesting because it suggests that something was off, enough for people to notice that they weren't hearing from her.
Yeah, it wasn't typical for her to just drop off the radar like that.
Exactly. And then fast forward almost a year later, March 14th, 2025, the Shasta County Sheriff's Office makes a big announcement.
They rule it a homicide.
Yeah. Which is really significant because her body's never been found.
That's right. And, to make that call without a body, they must have some pretty strong evidence pointing in that direction.
And along with that announcement came some pretty big moves on the investigation side of things. They executed search warrants at her home on Olinda Road on that same day, March 14th.
It seems like they really ramped up the investigation once they had enough to declare it a homicide.
And another thing that stood out to me was the fact that not only were local detectives involved, but also HSI and the FBI.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a pretty big deal.
Right. So HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, they usually deal with crimes that cross borders.
So that could suggest they're looking into the possibility that this case might extend beyond just the local area.
Exactly. And then bringing in the FBI, that brings a whole other level of resources and expertise.
Definitely. It's a sign that they're taking this very seriously and not leaving any stone unturned.
They've also mentioned that they've identified persons of interest, but they haven't released any names.
Which makes sense, to protect the investigation.
Right. They don't want to tip anyone off or jeopardize their chances of getting justice for Nikki.
Exactly. And it could also compromise any future legal proceedings if they were to release names prematurely.
Now, one of the details that I found really interesting was this whole thing about a red truck.
Oh, yeah, that caught my eye, too.
It was seen in western Tehama County, which is a bit of a drive from Anderson.
That's a good distance.
Yeah, near the R Wild Horse Ranch, or the Begum Gorge Bridge, sometime between May 18th and May 25th, 2024.
And the appeal mentioned a male adult possibly being picked up by the truck, right?
Right, so it makes you wonder, could this be a potential witness or even someone involved in Nikki's disappearance?
It's certainly a lead that investigators are going to be pursuing, I'm sure.
And the fact that it's in a completely different county, that raises even more questions.
Right. It suggests that there might be a travel element to this case that we don't fully understand yet.
Now, I know we can't talk about this case without addressing the fact that Nikki's husband, Tyler McCain, was facing felony domestic abuse charges at the time of her disappearance.
Right, and that's something that a lot of people have been focusing on.
But it's crucial for everyone to understand that those charges were dropped in July 2024 because Nikki couldn't testify. And the authorities have explicitly stated that he is not a suspect in her disappearance.
So while those charges were dropped because of her disappearance, it doesn't automatically mean that he's involved in what happened to her.
Exactly, and I think it's important to make that distinction.
Absolutely.
Tyler McCain did release a public statement on March 11th saying that he misses Nikki and apologizing to various family members.
It's definitely a complicated situation for everyone involved.
Yeah, and it adds another layer to an already very sensitive case.
It's a personal perspective, and it doesn't necessarily reflect anything about the ongoing police investigation.
And, it's understandable that people might have questions or make assumptions.
Absolutely.
But it's important to stick to the facts and let the investigation run its course.
Right. Speculation doesn't help anyone, and it can actually hinder the investigation.
There's also a pretty substantial reward being offered for information leading to Nikki's location.
Oh, wow. How much?
$30,000.
That's significant.
Yeah, I mean, that shows how seriously they want to find her. And it's a reminder that even the smallest piece of information could be crucial.
Right. Something that seems insignificant to one person might be the missing link for investigators.
So if you know anything at all, please contact the Shasta County Sheriff's Major Crimes Unit at MCU at shastacounty.gov or 530-245-6135.
So just to recap what we know, we have a missing mother, a homicide ruling without a body, a search for a red truck in a different county, and those dropped domestic abuse charges against her husband, who is not a suspect.
It's a lot to take in, and it really highlights the difficult realities that families in these situations face.
It's not just about the missing person themselves. It's about the ripple effect it has on everyone who loves them.
And it's a reminder that we all need to be aware of our surroundings and pay attention to anything that seems out of place.
Right, because you never know what might be important.
So this case, it really makes you think about the challenges of seeking justice when you don't have all the answers.
Yeah, what does it actually mean to investigate a homicide when you don't even have the victim's body? And how do you navigate those prior allegations and ensure that the focus remains on finding the truth?
It's a tough question, and it's one that investigators are grappling with right now.
And it's a reminder that these cases are complex and they require a lot of patience and understanding.
So let's hope that with the help of the public, we can get some answers for Nikki's family and bring her home.
I hope so too.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and we'll keep you updated as this case unfolds.
It's a case that will definitely keep people talking for a while.
All right, thanks again.
Thank you.